Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about the new FM prizes. We're going to have Kenny run through the new FM target, and I'm not sure who's out in the parking lot, but and we're also going to talk about the raid. So Mike's not here; he's getting vetted to be the next ambassador to the EU. So we wish him the best of luck. And I'll introduce everybody from top to bottom. Ozzy,
Morning, everybody.
Lady Cat. Well, she's on mute. And somebody sounds like they're outside with dogs. Um, there we go. Jeff.
Hello.
Hello. And Ben.
Hello, everyone.
Yep. And Ben, it sounds a little bit like you're outside. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, we got a lot of bug fixes this week. Fixed a bug that was causing the bayonet's secondary weapons to not fire. I don't even know what to say. I mean, you'd think they would figure that out in some sort of testing, wouldn't you?
We are the testers.
Yeah. Well, prior to this, I mean, the weapons not firing is
pretty basic.
Yeah, that is an issue. And, the fact that they fixed it after the raid where everybody's like, okay, well, the bayonet sucks. It seems like it would have been something they might wanted to fix prior to that. So I'm assuming nobody had any experience with that because there's really not a use for the bayonet at this point in time until tomorrow in Shipyard. It's the new interceptor hull that was released as part of the raid. Okay, and the FM, it appears that they, which I wish they did with all the VXP targets, the resist on the ships were not working as intended, so ships doing other things besides explosive and penetrative were doing quite well in those targets. Should not affect the performance of the Praetorians in any ways. So, was anybody trying or heard about people using alternate hulls? Hello? Am I still here?
I didn't hear anyone.
No. Okay. Okay. In inventory, some CICs did not display their level in the top right. It only say CIC. Okay, so they'll show their level. All good. A turret on the 137 in the FM has been moved by one grid space to improve AI pathing. Maybe we'll have a game on Friday where everybody can figure out which one they moved. But otherwise, I don't think that's a big thing. Does anybody else want to read the last one? Aussie?
Well, I can do. It's just I keep muting myself because I've got a baby here.
Okay, I didn't realize. Okay.
Sorry, yeah. I can read it. Equipment.
Okay.
F1 armor weight is being reduced from 1,250 to 1,000 ton to match the limited isotope armors. This allows players to have a blueprint option without disrupting existing builds. For those who are using F1s currently, this allows for upgrading to F2 without disrupting existing builds. Since the F2 weight is 1,250 tons, matches the former weight of the F1 armors.
Okay. So the old F1 armors, nobody is going to be putting the new F1 armors on the old F1 armors because they were different. It's different type. This whole thing doesn't make any sense if you look into it. I'm not going to get much more into it because they fixed it before it was even really a problem. But yeah, this statement doesn't make any sense, and I would recommend everybody just ignore it. Everything's fixed. It's and we're going to get into the armors. So yeah, because everybody's complaining about the armor and the armor cost, and we'll get into that. It's not that big of a deal. No reason to get upset. I mean, because I think they actually cost themselves. I think they cost themselves money with the way they release them, but we'll get into that in a little bit once we get to the armors. So, all right, nothing else on bug fixes. All right, assault siege calendar. This week we have shipwrecks that start tomorrow. We have 3 FM cycles. VXP weekend. Whoops, I did a copy instead of a cut on the shipwreck, so not happening twice this week. Sorry about that. And we have bounty next week, and one more click. Take your new bayonet interceptors out for a spin with shipwreck targets spawning over the weekend. This is a non-event store shipwreck focusing strictly on a variety of awesome drops. So I guess at some point I think they figured out that we just love the random drops and decided that we didn't need to have a leaderboard or assured prizes, and we love shipwrecks. Any thoughts on this? Anybody?
I'll be taking it as a Battle Pirates vacation myself.
Well, you know, I'm sure it's going to have some good stuff in it. It's whether you're going to get it or not is a whole different thing. I'm sure it's going to have. I don't know. I say I'm sure, but just guessing from past experience that we're going to see, you know, probably kits for the Pegasus and the War Pegasus, upgrade tokens associated with them, some build tokens thrown in there, maybe some generic build tokens. But those are probably at the end, and it is what it is. I mean,
Are you serious? You think it's going to have all that in there?
Yes, I think it will have it because we've seen this before. It'll have it at the last. If you hit the high end ones, I'm pretty sure all that stuff will be in there, but it'll be random drops.
Great.
Yeah. So.
Because we like the unexpected.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it took me back out of the shipwreck event because I'm not going to do it hoping for the right drop.
Well, if you enjoy the targets, let alone that's, you know, probably the intermediate prizes are going to be resources, advanced resources, things of that nature, and then you got the random drops. That's, you know, I don't have any inside knowledge, just historical knowledge on what they've done. So. Yeah. So
I'm gonna go. I'll be back in 10.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, not a lot of fans of the random drops out here. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the one more click.
They just don't know. They just don't know what fun is, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if Aussie's gone. I don't know if we should hit the 137 at this point, or the 133. I'm sorry, or because he was probably the most successful on the raid. Is that something you're up for at this point, Kenny? Or
sure, let's do it.
Okay, we'll share your screen. Lady Cat, can you? Well, no. Let me figure out what slide to put that on. Is the, because we're going to go back to that, is the flagship seas Praetorian, slide number 9.
And this is the usual caveat. This fleet is not done yet.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'd say, you know, at least people get to see the target. We have the introduction of the new Legion Barracks 133, which replaces the 131. It's 11.5 million. When we're click, all the other ones have stayed around besides the 131. The target primarily does penetrative damage, so similar builds should be viable without needing to refit. However, it's a new target. Expect to need new tactics and strategies to efficiently defeat the target. So yeah, no, they're building you up here, Kenny. So let's one more click. All right, this is the target. If you look around, you see a lot of mountains. We see a lot of the vulture type. We see 2 of the long-range missiles, and a few of the rocket ones around here. But there's a lot of mountains to block the long-range missiles. So I'm going to go over to Kenny's screen, and
Yep, this is going to be bad because this is a driving target with all those mountains and stuff.
yeah,
You have to know, and you have to know where they're coming from. So
yeah.
it could be ugly.
What's your upgrade level on your Praetorians?
They're all base.
Yeah, they're all U0. Cuddle, I think this is, usually doesn't go well. So this is not a how-to. It's
More
so
of a
yeah,
how not to.
yeah, okay. Well, I think he's trying to guess the amount of damage. Cuddle's gone 4 hours 1 minute, so I'm going 5 hours 25 minutes, and we'll see how this works out.
6 hours 9 minutes.
6 hours. Yeah.
You're going for a wipe almost then. Yep. I'll go 5.5 hours.
Oh, you just went right above me. So that's I'm not sure we're allowed to.
Price is right. You're doomed.
Yeah. So I said 5:20, and you went 5:30.
Yep.
Okay, so I only got 10 minutes in there. So yeah, you see how the long range missiles are getting caught up in the mountains trying to shoot at Kenny.
The mountains are this time your friend and your enemy. Then see, they're gonna. Oh, they're not getting that buff. Aren't they supposed to go?
The long range ones are not going through the mountains.
I know, but the buff on the ships, the mountains are your enemy.
Oh, that's true.
See, no buff.
Get a little closer.
Oh, there you have to.
There we go.
You have to hug the mountains.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The mountains are not your friend, but you have to hug them.
Frenemy.
Yeah, frenemy. You gotta hug.
Yeah. High Lord's way off on this. I don't know. Under 4 is not. I don't see that in the cards. So we'll see.
All right, are we ready? Whoops. Yep, they're firing at me. We're ready.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I don't have all the driving people yelling how to drive. It's very unnerving. It's too quiet.
We haven't hit this target before, so the one thing we would probably recommend is getting in range of that long range turret without the mountains for you. But yeah,
where is it? I don't even recognize it.
It's the one just on the other side of the mountains from you.
Oh, this one right here. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's another one down now it's at the bottom of the screen. There you go. Okay, we'll take that one out. When I looked at this target, I have not hit it yet. I didn't imagine taking that one out first, but we'll see how that works. Yeah, because I was going to use the mountains to guard against the long range turret. But yeah, that's not in the plans for Kenny.
No, he's
yeah.
He's got his own chaos mode.
He's stripping his shirt off and just like, come at me, bitch.
See what happens with the pure chaos mode. Oh man, I'm taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Don't be doing loop-de-loops.
What are they called?
There's no mortars in here. Are there?
Yeah. Yes.
Where are
sir.
the mortars? On the ships?
No, but I know he's killed one already.
But the mortars.
Right there. See him fire? The gun he just killed?
Those aren't rockets?
No, it was mortar projections. Projectiles.
Okay.
I believe that's one on the other side of that mountain. Yep.
Come on, kill that thing.
The one he's working on now will fire. See?
Oh, yeah, those are mortars. Okay.
And they hit me.
Yeah.
I sat there looking at them. I see a
Yeah.
lot of red dots, but I don't see what I'm supposed to be hitting.
The ships are still out there.
Yeah, but is that all I have left?
I don't see anything else on your screen.
Bottom left corner.
I see red dots all over, but I only see one ship left.
Looking at your thing, bottom left corner.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't good, but it wasn't a disaster either. I can see a lot of opportunities to drive better. Oh, there they are. Okay.
Spinning circles.
Spinny circles, that's it. See, I didn't even see half these turrets because I was in big screen mode.
Yeah.
But you want to keep moving because there's mortars.
Yeah, I see that now. I didn't even see these turrets. I drove right by them. Well, I'm going to complete the target at least. Small compensation.
Yeah, I think you might have made Ben right when you were trying to make yourself right here.
Okay, mostly penetrative damage from driving haphazardly.
Yeah.
Oh, almost 8 hours damage.
Oh, well, Cuttlefish is the closest. He said pushing 7 hours. So, wait. What did, I'm going to have to look up what Freeman said. Yep, 8 hours. So, yeah. No, he did it.
Won 8 hours.
Yeah, he won, yeah. So, good job.
What's his prize?
I'm not sure what prize you get, but yeah, you know. Alrighty. So
that was bad. I think I can cut some time off that, but I'm not going to hit 2 of them in one fleet if I don't drive a lot better, though.
Yeah. We're looking at the target again. You had the. I have not hit the target yet, but you see the mountains and the positioning of the mountains, and then you see that group of 4. Then you have the long range missile in the center.
Yeah, I should have taken that out quick.
Well, you should have stayed behind the mountains in order to get to it. You know, because it can't fire over the mountains. That's what we saw. And then you had the other one further north. So, you know, some people have used pinches and whatnot to deal with them because they do a lot of penetrative damage. And you don't really have a huge amount of penetrative survival on this fleet, right?
Right. Only the flag has a fair amount. I was hoping it was going to take most of the damage, but it was spread out this time.
Yeah.
But that's because I should have taken out the long range things quick, because as I was driving around, some of the tail ships were probably getting hit.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And you saw pretty even damage. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. It appears it's the missiles are splash based, not accuracy based, based on all the people that have put up reports so far. So it might be an approach that you use the flag as a tank. It seems to be the new trend. That's used to be the old trend. So okay. Listen, somebody, Ben or somebody else wants to hit it again.
I'm waiting on my dock right now.
Okay. Alrighty. Lady Cat hit you?
Yeah, she flattened my ass.
Okay. Alrighty. So, well, if we can probably go back to slide 4 at this point, and hopefully, maybe Aussie will come back soon. That's what I'm thinking. Cuttlefish, I haven't hit the target, but that seems to be what makes the most sense to me. It's what we've been seeing recently, pretty much in all the targets, as far as how you want to hit these. So,
One thing, if we want to start talking about the raid now,
yeah,
it was all about the driving. I went from like 5 hours to less than an hour total.
Total meaning for a set.
Well, the 130 was instant base repair.
Yep.
And the 132 was, I think it was eight minutes a ship or something like that. So that's like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I was able to get them down to both down to instant repair on the base. The issue was the length of time it took to hit the targets relative to the points that
and the cost of one slip of your mouse, like just one mistake was like a couple coins.
There were some fun patterns to come up with in the 132, and there were some fun patterns to come up with. It just felt like we needed to get more points for those. I didn't hate the targets. I just didn't like the payout. I thought the payout should have been higher. It was a grind for the points and also for the shards. The shards for the jagged bite torpedoes. I just felt like we had to spend too much time in order to get to where we were supposed to be.
Dumb question. What are the jagged bite torpedoes going to go on?
The next ship that we earn in the next raid, which is going to be I'm guessing a sub, because the next 2 raid cycles after the next one will be skirmish, and I'm assuming because they're torpedoes, but I might be doing that wrong, will be subs, but they may not be. There could be surface ships with torpedoes, but I'm assuming that's what they're going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just, nobody really said anything and what they were for. They just appeared.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of weird to get the upgrade or the weapon for the raid 2 weeks or
2 months.
raids.
Oh, except for that's what we got with the bladed pinion on this one as well.
Yeah, it just seems weird.
Yeah, it's the new pattern that they've established. I mean, do you have a problem with the whole concept, or?
Well, not really. I'm used to. I guess I've been on the game too long. I like getting my ship, my weapon, and my special in one raid and being done. That's history, of course, but all these shards and upgrades and stuff are starting to blow my mind a bit.
Yeah, the upgrades I can see, definitely see an issue with. What are your thoughts on this, Ben? The raid? How did it go for you?
The raid wasn't bad. It was just the targets took way too damn long to do.
Yeah.
7 to 10 minutes in a target.
I never saw 7 minutes. I was always over that.
Yeah, it just way too long. The driving was key.
Yeah.
And more the specials than the weapons on how you had your fleet fitted.
Yeah. Okay.
Because mine, I had it all kited out with the bladed pinion missile, and all that. And by the end of the raid, I got it down to 8 minutes of target max damage.
Okay.
Now, my wife, same fleet, same build, except for she did not have all bladed pinion.
Hmm.
She was getting about 12 to 15 minutes at target.
So about twice the damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, it was an easy raid if you could stay awake to do it.
Yeah, it was extremely time consuming. Is what I was trying to get across. Yes.
And I'll second that because I bored myself out of playing it any further before I repaired or coined myself out of the raid. It was just pure slog fest. It felt to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what they would come up with as a solution. Are they going to the solution going to be like, okay, well, you're going to take a lot more damage?
Well, I feel a big part of the reason the target took so long was the combat speed of the Pegasus hull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's part of it, but at least the way I drove it, it was just driving back and forth, which is part of the strategy associated with it. And I agree 100% with that. And the combat speed itself wasn't that bad. But I think what they've been doing recently is we see the size of the map, but we don't know how many units are, how many travel units are inside of them. Yeah, it felt really slow. I agree with that.
And one other comment from just the people in the sector and stuff. It seemed like you watch all the YouTube videos and there's a whole raft of people getting this 8, 15, 20-minute damage and nearly instant stuff. And then a lot of people getting locked out completely with their partially built Pega fleets. And then remember, I'm always saying the raid's okay as long as there's a plan B.
Yeah.
There was no good plan B this time. You had to have a really good last raid ship in order to get any points, and then they lowered the points, of course. So there wasn't even a good slogging plan B. And that it was probably the most, at least in my sector, the most disengaging raid I've ever seen in terms of participation, and also the number of people asking for help was incredible this time. And
were any of these people? I heard people were doing quite well autoing the 80s with dragoons. Anybody have any familiarity? I never.
Oh yeah, that was actually Plan B, but it was more than a slog fest. I mean,
okay. Were you autoing or were you just?
Yeah, the 80s would auto.
Okay. For
so
how
that what I would basically base repair or instant repair. So I guess that was Plan C, because you'd have to spend 30, 40 hours in the raid to get all the points you needed. That was the real problem, is if you added up all the kits and tokens and things you thought you needed, you needed a huge number of points, and those 80s weren't. They took a long time each time, even on auto.
Okay.
And so that was, I guess, Plan B, but it felt like a lot of people were saying that wasn't a good one.
Yeah, and I understand why, and we talked about this prior to, we did this on the Friday show after we saw it. I think we did it even on Wednesday before it, because we complained about the fact that if you spend a whole month trying to build these fleets, and then you get to it, and I'm like, you may not have the right, you may not be completely armored on one ship or whatnot. If you don't have the newest fleet completely done, you might as well go backwards to the previous one.
Unless you're in that same boat with it too, is the problem.
Yeah, well,
if you didn't get this fleet done and then you've got to race to start building the next one, then you're kind of screwed because you're behind the 8 ball again.
Yeah, I'm going to get into the opposite issue in a little bit associated with the Pegasus, but because there's an opposite issue associated with it. But I want to deal with this because how do you guys Well, I'm not sure if I want to get into it now, but how do you guys plan to spend your generic tokens in the FM over the next couple of weeks? What are you going to spend those on?
I'm finally gonna get my Praetorians done.
Okay, I have my Praetorians done. I mean, my
Yeah.
Praetorians are done.
And if you don't have that, then yeah, you're kind of behind an 8 ball yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben, how are you doing with that?
I'm gonna spend it finishing up my Praetorians. I need to armor them.
Okay, I already armored mine. Okay, so
Yeah. So we're in the same. You're
Yeah.
in a unique position.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unique, but yeah, what I ended up doing was I was, I had I had I got like 26,000. I didn't get a ton of points. And I was trying to figure out how to spend the last of my points. And was like, and I was like, and then, from up high, they spoke to me.
Yeah.
And they gave me, because I already had token chests from the previous week. And then I opened them up and I got a 2 and 2. And so I still had on the legendary, and then I still have 2 on the next one. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend. I have 3 2-day tokens that I'm gonna spend on what? An 8-hour upgrade here, an 8-hour upgrade there. So what did I do? I got another flag, and I'm like, because between this week and next week, I don't see a way to spend personally, and I'm not out there doing any craziness, but I didn't see a way to spend my tokens in a wise way. So I'm like, I'm gonna have basically 12 days worth of tokens. I can put a new flag in. I'm gonna have to have it ready for VXP weekend. But if they try to do anything where they're trying to target, because we saw some things as far as the upgrade CICs associated with Pegasus, that it seems like they wanted to have whoever's targeted take a lot of damage. Maybe I can have 2 flags, swap them out if one takes too much damage, and do, and then hit something else. Does it make sense?
Yeah, especially if they make one heavily missile and the other one heavily corrosive next raid.
Yeah. Alpha, did they expect us to build 2 Pegasus fleets? They put a lot of offers out there for people, and that's why that's what I'm talking about. I did something that I could afford with the tokens I get from the FM, and making 2 flags and drive that as my front ship, but who knows if that's going to work. So I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just saying what I did, because I didn't want to waste 2-day tokens on 8-hour builds.
What about Conquerors or Defenders? You have none to build?
I have Conqueror and Defender tokens, and I'm not really all into that. So,
I guess for once I'm happy I'm behind. Don't have that problem.
Yeah, well, and I don't think I'm necessarily upset about having 2 flags. I can swap them out, run them as a tank. I'm only planning to get the second flag up to U2. I only bought enough kits for that, unless they do something weird in pillage. So it's going to be much less than my other flag, because I'll get that one up to U4, and the XCIC swap out is 1 second. That only applies to the normal Pegasus. It does not apply to the War Pegasus. That's 10 hours. So, FYI. So, I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts on the raid? I was going to go through some, what are you going to build? How are you going to spend your stuff? Let's go to the next slide, Lady Cat. Any thoughts on this, anybody? Like I said, this is not, all the other ones are 1 second, as Chuck said, but this one is 9 hours and change, or right around 10 hours to put this one onto the flagship. So
a pain, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. I did buy the in the raid. I did buy the 10 days worth of tokens, so that's how I figured that out. So, all right. Nobody else has anything on this one. And the Turin XCIC, I didn't buy a single kit associated with this personally. I don't believe in this whole, I don't know, having to spend almost 7 days a ship for 4 ships, 28 days, in order to get health sharing for, we talked about this before. I'm not participating in this. If they're going to make it go down this path, I'm not happy with it. That's why I've chosen instead to build 2 flags as opposed to go through all this. It's going to cost. Less time.
Is there any point in doing this at all on one ship if you're not going to do?
I mean, my big issue associated with this is the fact that both the War Pegasus and the normal Pegasus have a 3-hour repair time. One has 5 million armor, the normal ones, and then the War Pegasus has 8 million armor. So they both take 3 hours to repair. So if you have the ones with 5 million armor, healing the one with 8 million armor, it's not good. I mean, your efficiency is now relegated to not the repair efficiency of the flag, but the repair efficiency of the lesser ships. And so now all your repair is going to be associated with 5 million armor for 3 hours, as opposed to 8 million for 3 hours armor to time. So until we see the new targets, I'm staying away from this. Does that make sense to you, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm planning on just going to U3 on the 4 ships.
Mm-hmm.
And then U4 on the flag, and that's as far as I got tokens and stuff for.
Okay.
Kits for. That was the plan.
All right.
Of course, plan might go out the window if they start doing campaigns and events that give us more. But like if they give us the kits necessary to get to U4, then what the heck? Why not? But I certainly not going to slog myself to Euphoria.
Well, the kits and the tokens, because it's almost 7 days per ship. So
yeah,
27 days or 27 days to get all 4 of them there, and then you're increasing your repair costs. It's I don't see how this works, but they've fooled me before. So let's go on to the next one, which is very similar. The Nessus XCIC. Same thing. They just add in this health transfer. So, 6 days, 19 hours. All right, let's go to the next one. All right. What have people been doing in Praetorian upgrades, and what do you guys think about them? I have all mine during the raid because I wasn't using my Pegasus. Because I was using my Pegasus and not using my Praetorians. I got all 4 of them up to U1, and still highly confused by the fact that now my normal Pegasus, or my normal Praetorians are better at being a tank than my flagship.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. You know, because yeah. So, personally, my plan is I have them all at U1. I'm going to spend the 2 days at the end / beginning of the FM to slowly get the rest of them up to U2. That's all the kits I own. So I don't have any plan to get to U3, but I'm still highly confused by the fact that they changed the targeting mechanism. And now the targeting mechanism is more likely to target your flagship, but now you're making the other ships have higher armor and survival numbers. So, all right.
And originally, the 131s that I was used to, the flag was taking all the damage, and I passed over this, going, well, you ship 2 through 5 didn't matter. For now, all of a sudden, as tonight just proved, that
Yep.
I was mistaken. They went to splash damage, and I'm screwed.
You didn't screw by these upgrades. You're screwed by the fact that you don't have the right armor on there. If you look at the table at the bottom, and this is just using the armors that we had available prior to this FM, putting those armors on is a huge difference relative to going to U2.
How many pieces? 3?
Yeah, 3 of each. You know, they're 8 hours each. So basically, it's going to take 2 days per ship if you have the right lab upgrades and friends on Facebook or whatever else is going on there. But those are my numbers. Is I get like a little over 8 hours per piece.
The good news is Ben and I both aren't going to have the problem you had. We're going to be using all our tokens to put the armor on.
Yeah, I'm just. I mean, because worst comes to worst, you could just start hitting 120s and 121s and get all the points you need. And well, let's move to the next one.
Why not 4 and 2? It seemed like I was taking all missile damage. Why not 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 3?
Because this was the easiest example to make. Because I'm trying to make a
No, I meant, shouldn't we consider putting 4?
It depends on the target. I mean, because they have some targets that are high explosive and some targets that are high penetrative. So 3 and 3, I thought was the fairest way to represent it. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. We have the new 133, which Kenny's already graced us with as far as exactly how to perform on that one, and it's worth 11.5 million. I think the 131 was worth 10 million. No, they've changed this. Okay, turns. Okay, so they've changed some of the drops. So the 120, oh, I forgot to include the 120, but the 120 is the same as 121, but one more click. Yeah, we've seen next one. Okay, we've seen the target. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is when Lady Cat hit it, which looks a lot like the one you hit it.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Yeah, where you're getting between 3.5 and 4 times penetrative damage versus explosive. I think she got 4 hours and 20 minutes.
But if you tune your ships to this to this target alone, which maybe is dangerous, but 4 and 2 might make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a couple steps back to the, well, yeah, until we see the targets and get into the targets, I'm not sure how much that spread reduction matters. I mean, it really depends on how how things are built. I mean, how the target is built. I can see it. I can see what you're saying. It could go either way. You know, negative spread, positive spread. Really depends on the distribution of the turrets in the target. So let's see the next one. All right. This is what everybody's complaining about, not happy about, or whatever words you want to use. This is the folded ferrite F2XM. It's a combination of explosive and penetrative. We've already, for months, we've been given the ZM1 and ZX1, which are 25 million per plate. The ZM1, you were able to get 4 per FM. The ZX1, you were able to get 2. So right there, it's 100,000 for the ZM1s, 50,000 for the ZX1s. Just for your Praetorian fleet, that's 150 million, and you need a total of, it's 6 per ship, so 24. You understand what I'm saying, right? On the left-hand side, the folded ferrite F2XM is an unlimited armor. You just claim it once, and you can equip it to all your ships. It has its deficiencies. It has, if you basically has 1,000 less total survival than the specialty armors. But it does have 50,000 more armor points. I'm assuming this is a wash. They all have the same build time. So
this new F2XM armor,
yep,
I feel Kickside brought it out for those that cannot.
I think they brought it out way too late.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think they brought it out to help the ones that are struggling to get the limited armors every week. This is a stepping stone, I feel.
I think they missed a chance. If they wanted to monetize this, they should have dropped the F2XM months and months ago.
Then you'd have a place for all those tokens of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They missed the boat here. They did this all backwards.
Yeah. I don't understand, because people, sometimes I'm like, oh, they're just grabbing for coins, and sometimes like, oh, they appear incompetent. And this is one where I feel like, they appear more incompetent than they, than they're trying to steal our coins. Because, if they dropped the F2XM, people would have slapped those all over their ships, and then they would have fine-tuned those ships with the ZM1 and the ZX1, depending on where they were in their fleet. So, but 70,000 points is nothing relative to, you have
endless 50,000s.
Yeah, you have 6 armor slots on each Praetorian, so that's 30, right? And so it's the other ones were 25 million per, so 25 times 30 million, as opposed to by 3. So it's I'm sorry, 25. This is like a tenth of the cost of what it could be. So it's not it's not a crazy amount of points to ask for. The only problem that I have is they're like, oh, well, they got, you know, they bought stuff for 70 million. Let's make limited stuff 70 million. And I understand that. So, yeah, but if that cut, you know, the cost is low, is what I'm trying to say. You know, the cost is not high. It's the cost of less than 3 limited plates. 3 limited plates is 75 million. This is 70. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Premium's agreeing with what I have said. Yeah.
For what they're charging for this armor, you can get it. It's unlimited. Where the limited armors, you can't even get 3 of them for this price.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
I'm not defending the action. I think they fucked up. I think they should have released this first. But yeah, it's yeah. We're not seeing escalation. We're seeing it. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, the value is much different. I think they fucked up in the way they delivered it, because I think most players that have armored ships don't need these, and it's just a waste of points. But you should probably get them anyways because you want to get them anyways. So that's more my thought.
What's the install time on them?
They're the same as the other ones. We used to get unlimited. No, yeah. Get ready to ignore you. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. No, the install time is the same. It's a base of like 12 hours, whatnot. But if you have the correct lab upgrades and everything else, it's right around 8 hours. The F2s and the F1s are the same, which is a little bit odd. This is heavier. As you see, it's 250 tons heavier, relatively. So, and well, let's go to the next one. I think it becomes more of an issue with the assault armor, where I've run really close to the edge, on these ones as far as weight goes. But it's the same issue. It's not really 70,000 points. We have the same issue. The 50,000 more armor is more advantageous here, because of the lower total armor of the ship. The Praetorian has 50,800,000 armor. The base Pegasus has 5 million. The War Pegasus has 8 million. So this increase in armor is more significant. It's most significant on the War Pegasus, where you can get a 2.5% increase in armor. But it still doesn't make any sense, as far as people that already have them fitted. This is for people that are trying to catch up. So FM is a catch-up mechanism as far as what I'm seeing here.
Are there any old fleets with F1 com that might still be useful to get this? I don't know. Probably not.
In this army, okay, you need to get it. That's potentially true.
That's definitely true for that many points.
Yeah, but you need to get 70,000 per week and then collect them as the weeks go on.
But at least they didn't take away the 120s. You could theoretically grind your way to that and then have the armor now.
Yeah.
The 120s are a pain, but then take forever. But if you've got 5 fleets or 5 ships going after them, you could get that many points. And then now, without getting all those expensive 50 million, you can get 175. So it's still viable for some people.
Yeah, I agree with Preeman. I mean, it could be a gateway drug, for them, as far as like, okay, we're charging them 25 million per piece, but they need 30 pieces, and now we're charging them almost 3 times as much, but they only need one piece. But they didn't give a good explanation. But I do understand what you're saying. But hopefully, players keep them in line if they try to do that, because you see some of the players on Discord, they're like, oh, okay, this is all good because this happened, and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I don't hang out here too much. So, all right. And the next one is the junior Garrison Junior armor. I don't really see a reason for this. Anybody see a reason for it?
Nope.
Okay.
Just to fill a gap in the some manager saw a gap and hey, we have nothing that fits in that spot.
Well, it's close to the other. There's other F1 armors, and it fits in right with them. But yeah, there's no
practical value. But like I said, somebody saw a chart of all the armors out there and saw that hole and said, let's fill that hole there.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, Death Row is it's a new TLCs. I don't normally talk about the TLCs. Has anybody hit this? Because I'm wondering, the interesting parts about it is, in my perspective, is you don't get the kits until you get to the mastery round, but you get the upgrade tokens, which is weird. And you get 40 each, and you can repeat that 5 times. It's recommended to use the Saturn and the Nemesis. Has anybody tried this with the Pegasus? Because I'm assuming much better results.
No, but I'm willing to try.
So, what you want to hit? You want to try them now?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Liga says it's easy with Pegasus. So, are you going to try and prove them wrong?
No.
How easy is it, Liga? Is it like auto, instant?
I put my flag into the upgrade, the Euphoria upgrade anyway.
Okay, so you're upgrading. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Pretty easy. I like numbers, but yeah. So okay. So you still need to drive, it appears. So but it appears easy enough, and I'm not sure who said it's not going to U2, but I don't know. All right, we're running towards the end of the show. Now, I assume, if we go back to the Praetorians, I assume they're going to X1. That's one of the reasons I'm a little bit tempted to spend more time as far as upgrading the Praetorians to U3. I only purchased enough kits in the raid to get to U2, but I'm assuming they're going to X1 the way they were doing it. I'm not happy with that. That's what, I'm not happy with the devaluation of the FM generic tokens either. I don't really understand what they're doing. Okay, you do a set for 1 hour damage. So that is the death roll. So, and that was prize pack 1, 2, 3 mastery. I don't know. So I'm going to post the link in case anybody would like to join the show. And if you want, you can hit the death roll campaign. Kenny, or we can end the show and proceed to the after show.
Well, I can see if the four ships non-flag do anything, or we can call it whatever.
Yeah, well, I think we'll probably call it. And see you all on Friday. And take care. The link's on the right-hand side. And we'll see you all then.
See you, everybody.
Later, everyone.